Hey! Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Justice League of America Dark Things. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, going into Justice League of America Dark Things, I was quite hesitant. I actually had low expectations. And the reason why I had low expectations were basically two elements. One is the comic itself. The second is the writer. Now, allow me a few minutes and just humor me, and allow me to explain why I was hesitant going into the book. Because, see, the Justice League of America is one of my favorite comics of all time, and recently it's had a lot of ups and downs, more downs than ups. I feel as though this is a good time to kind of take an analysis of the book. So if you get bored before I actually get into the review itself, I'm sorry, but I feel as though it's necessary to do this. So, like I said, there's two elements and reasons why I was hesitant going into this actual story and why I had low expectations. And, well, I have a theory, a formula. And my theory is that the Justice League of America as a comic works best when it follows this formula. The big names of the DC Universe, working as a team, fighting larger-than-life villains in epic, almost biblical-like situations. I feel as though if you look at the publishing history of Justice League of America and you apply that formula to it, you see where the comic succeeds and where it fails. Go back to the original series, back in 1960, when it first came out. Big names of the DC Universe, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter, dealing with very colorful, very over-the-top, and very unique villains. An epic, kind of silly, but still epic, over-the-top situation. And the formula worked so well. The original Justice League of America, Volume 1, lasted for about 20 years and was comfortable as one of the most successful comics of DC at the time, and you can consider even of all time. It just was really, really good. I mean, they brought in new members here and there, but it sticks to the formula, and it was good. Then Justice League Detroit came along, totally disregarded the formula, only had two of the original members, and it kind of just fell apart and didn't succeed at all. I mean, they had members like Jive and Gypsy, and, I mean, who are these people? These aren't Batman and Superman. So the comic just didn't work out. Then Justice League International came along, and granted, International was really fun and really good in the beginning, and it worked out well despite the fact the formula wasn't applied. But even it fell apart, and it wasn't that good of a series towards the end. Then in the 90s, JLA came out and went back to the formula that worked. Big names of the DC Universe, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, New Flash, New Green Lantern, Aquaman, and Martian Manhunter. Over-the-top, larger-than-life situations against massive, top-name villains. And it was beautiful. The comic was so successful. And even when it wasn't at its prime, it was still in the top 10 for comic book shares and ratings and, well, profits. It was just a successful comic. Infinite Crisis happened, and now we have this comic, which, by all intents and purposes, started off solid. It had big names like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Black Canary, Red Tornado, Green Lantern, characters that were in previous Justice League stories, recognizable, and then some new characters thrown in there to mix things up. But it started to become a drama. I mean, the Teen Titans is a drama, and that's fine. Teen Titans work like that. But it started to become a drama, and there was so much talking, and less action, less missions, less over-the-top epicness. And some of the big names started leaving, like Batman had to deal with Black Love, Superman had to deal with New Krypton, and Wonder Woman had to deal with the Olympians. Green Lantern went off to deal with what was happening with the Green Lantern Corps, and, well, it just fell apart. After Final Crisis, they thought they'd try something different with a new team and give this comic a breath of fresh air. But it didn't quite follow the formula that well. It was still kind of drama-ish, and new characters were introduced with, like, you know, Batman Dick Grayson, Donna Troy, recognizable characters, but even B-ranking compared to the top names. And then Kong Gorilla and New Starman, most people don't know who these people are. And the first few stories didn't work out that well. So as you can see, I was very hesitant going into this book for that reason. It did not follow the formula that I think worked best for the Justice League. The second reason is, well, James Robinson as the writer. Now, I know there's a lot to be said that's good about James Robinson. Everyone praises his Starman stuff, which I haven't read and I don't have the money to buy. And I've even read Face to Face, which someone pointed out you wrote. Thank you for pointing that out. I totally missed it. Again, my viewers, the people that watch my videos, are very intellectual and pick up on stuff that I even missed. And that was good, but his Justice League stuff just hasn't been working. Cry for Justice was absolutely atrocious and left such a bad taste in my mouth. And then Team History really didn't do anything. Hey, look, we have a bunch of team members. Hey, we're leaving, we got stuff to do. But wait, you were only around for 2 panels. Yeah, we got bored. And a team that was like 12 people got reduced to 4. It wasn't working. So as you can see, I was very hesitant going into this book because so much stuff was working against it. The question is this, does the book actually surpass my expectations? Does it take what it has and roll with it and turn out to be good? Or was my worries and my expectations justified? Will this book just fail like the recent Justice League stories? Well, you're just going to have to wait and see. Let's get into the story itself. Well, do you know who Alan Scott is? The original Green Lantern. Well, he gets his power from this big green meteorite called the Starheart. The Starheart was basically leftover energies that the Guardians of the Universe were screwing around with at the beginning of the universe. You know, when they were kind of bi-curious and they were testing around with Manhunters and with the Starheart and with the, Green Lantern Corps. There's nothing wrong with that, but they kind of just left the Starheart there, and eventually a piece of the Starheart broke off and Alan Scott got it and became the Green Lantern, the Golden Age one. Now, the Starheart apparently has the ability to abduct people and travel. Because, see, Jay just came back to life, and she was abducted by the Starheart and brought to Earth, and the Starheart possessed Alan Scott and gave him the cool Kingdom Come armor. I mean, Kingdom Come, Green Lantern had cool armor. And it basically possessed him and took over and basically wants to, well, destroy everything, rule everything. Well, it's actually not sure, but it's going to be one of those two options. So, the Justice Society of America and the Justice League of America have to stop him. But the problem is that superheroes around the world who are either based on elements or based off magic are going crazy because the Starheart is affecting them. So, you have superheroes and even villains going crazy, and even normal people getting metahuman powers, going crazy, and then Alan Scott, basically a god now with all the Starheart power, going crazy, and the Justice League of America, as well as the Justice Society, both versions, All-Stars and regular, have to team up to stop this menace. It is quite possibly epic. Throwing that in there for a reason. So that's the basic story. Let's get into the good, the bad, and whether or not you should get it. Good. Let's start things out with art. This artist, I believe, is the artist that did some of Trinity. And he did also previous Justice League stories. And I like his art. Sometimes his females look a little off with their jaws and eyebrows, but for the most part, his art is pretty good, and I welcome it into this comic. So the art is nice. The story definitely is epic. I do like that it isn't some kind of drama, it's some kind of mystery. It's hey, there's a threat, let's go take care of this threat. It worked out well. The dialogue was nice also. It didn't come off as bad, it didn't come off as out of character. The dialogue was overall good. It wasn't fantastic, but compared to what we've been having recently with Justice League, I mean, hey, pretty good. And who doesn't like Con Gorilla going around and saying, tally-ho? And the new Justice League is kind of growing on me. Not to spoil anything for you, but we got some new members in here, like Supergirl and Jesse Quick, and they joined the Justice League, and although they're not the big names, and I wish they were, they grow on me. Con Gorilla is cool, and I like the new Starman. I mean, yeah, he looks like a Smurf, but he's still pretty cool. He needs to put a shirt on also. I mean, running around in jeans, he looks like Triple H, all blue and smirky. But anyway, the new team is kind of growing on me. I mean, I like Donna and Dick already. I mean, they're one of my favorites, but the team is growing on me. Personally, and I'm going to take a second here, if I was to make a Justice League team that didn't have the big seven like Bruce, Clark, Diana, Arthur Curry, Hal, Barry, and John, what I would do is Dick Grayson, Wally West, because it's not like Wally's doing anything right now, Donna Troy, Kara Rayner, or Jade, and I think Jade joins the team towards the end too. It's never really explained, but I think she's in future comics. So Kara Rayner or Jade, and then have like Roy Harper and someone else thrown in there. That would have been a good team. Recognizable characters, as well as not the big names. But the characters I do kind of throw a little patch to. Downside. Well, not much downside, but really the big downside is it was a little too long. It went on, it kind of just dragged at points. I mean, they're going around, they're stopping all these heroes and villains that are being possessed. It would have been better if they just went right at Green Lantern, right at Alan Scott. I think they could have cut off an issue or two here. I believe it's 4 issues of Justice League and 2 issues of Justice Society. They could have removed the Justice Society issues and still got a good story out of it. So it's a little long and it does drag on a bit. I read it in sections. Usually when I get a particular comic like Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, or Justice League, I read it in one sitting. This I did over a span of 2 days because, well, it was just long and I needed to pace myself. But that's really the only bad. While this does go a little closer to the formula, having epic story, it's not quite in the range of being in that perfect formula. But then again, right now, maybe that's not necessary. My biggest gripe with this Justice League team is I can't help but feel it's a temporary team. I think they're just waiting for the big names to come back. I could be wrong, and I would very much like to see this team last for a few years. But I think that's another thing that bothers me, is it feels like a temporary team. Do you really think Kong Gorilla is going to stay on for long? I mean, it's interesting, it's cool. I mean, tally ho, but I mean, I think it's temporary. So, final analysis. This was actually really good. This should have been what Team History was. It felt like a fresh start to the Justice League team. They're getting to know each other. They're inducting new members. It's balanced, epic story, over-the-top villains. It worked out well. I mean, Team History, you could just throw away and read this, and you'd be fine with it. No, it's not a perfect Justice League story. And on the grand scheme of things, if I had to say, it would be like a 3 out of 5 stars. But compared to what we've been getting recently with Justice League, this is kind of a breath of fresh air. It's fun, it's enjoyable, and, like I said, it gets a little bit closer to that formula I was talking about. James Robinson, you're slowly redeeming yourself in my eyes. I'm sure you would definitely redeem yourself if I read Starman, but again, money. So, whether or not you should get it, yes. Especially if you've been avoiding Justice League of America, and that's understandable. It's been having a lot of downs lately. But if you've been avoiding it, pick this up. This is a good starting point, okay? So, good starting point, good story, and it's better than what we've been getting. Justice League of America, Dark Things. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.